I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you were destined to be. I always say you both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark road for our subconscious, our spiritual journey, whatever it is. I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you.
Well, welcome to another edition of the Coach's Corner right here on SIBN Radio. And my name is Marcus Silletta. Surely, as I approach the microphone, I have my set of personal and professional issues, resolving as many as I can every day. And I hope that I bring to the microphone the wisdoms of life to help you get to the finish line. I trust that I can earn the right to speak into your life. And I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to the fans that are listening worldwide. Those that are listening to me on the various platforms where we air, we thank you in advance for sharing us also with a friend and following us there on Twitter. I did say Twitter, you know, at Select USA TV, and Facebook. Like us there. Fan pages for shows that are aired on SIBN respectively and beyond. Thank you to my Spreaker fans, Broad Talk Radio, just to name a few, Shoutcast Radio, and on it goes. Today we're going to talk about how to know when your IOP in life is over. How to know when your IOP in life is over. An IOP, interviews, orientation, and probation. So I let the cat out of the bag. Now you can listen for the rest of it right here. You're listening to the Coach's Corner on SIBN Radio. Let's get right to work. Another good day to you. Trust that you are doing well and you are making great stride as you move forward in life. Today we're talking about how to know when your IOP in life is over. First of all, do you remember when you had your first interview for your job? Do you remember the feelings that you had? Do you remember the tension? Do you remember the expectancy, the anticipation? In fact, it shouldn't be interview. It was interviews, because back in the old days, and I'm sure they're doing that now, they would ask you back for a second interview. And depending on what kind of employment opportunity it was, there was a third, and in some cases, a fourth interview. And there's some that's beyond that, if you can believe that. And so the interviews, left you in such a cloud of emotion. And in your life, perhaps right now, you constantly feel a cloud of emotion. Let me tell you some instances when this cloud of emotion may come again, all right? It comes when you meet somebody that you think you like or you think you love. The same feelings and a little bit more come along to fill you with. They actually do fill you with a whole nother presence, and you cannot rest and you cannot until you know that you got the job, or until you know he's going to call you back and he's for you and he likes you, and, on and on and on, or she likes you and he likes, so forth and so on. And so that interview process, that anticipatory process is very, very intense. And then you have orientation. The orientation is just as intense. I might say a step up above the interview cloud of emotions, the orientation. Do you remember when you first got that job and you had to do like 2 weeks of orientation or training? So it should have been how to know when your I.O.T.P. in life is over. But anyway, we'll omit the T just for now. But your orientation and training, in that 2 weeks, you're looking around. People are looking at you. They're trying to size you up. You're trying to find out what you would expect. You're trying to sense the pulse of the culture on that particular employment. DJ, you ready? You're trying to do all of those things. You see what I'm saying? Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. You see what I'm saying? And so that orientation left you also in a cloud of emotion. That orientation, man, I remember that cloud of emotion. How they gonna take a brother? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm glad to get this job and I don't want to do anything to mess it up. And it's the same way with a new relationship. You don't want to say anything that's going to upset her. You don't want to say anything to upset him. Maybe y'all just moved in together. I don't advise that. But, we all do what we got to do. And sometimes we find ourselves in the midst of a catch-22 and the dominoes fall. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is you have that same feeling. When you go out on that third date, you know what I'm saying? You still, a little bit tense, a little bit, you feel what I'm saying? And then you have probation. Well, you in. But you done seen a few things and heard a few things, and you're being watched. But that's what we talking about. How do you know when that's over? You know what I'm saying? I'll take a small break. Be right back. Yeah, man. Thanks, Mr. DJ. Needed that little break right there. Grab a sip of coffee. But how do you know it's over? How do you know it's over? You see? Well, the danger is when it's over and you're still feeling like it's not over. You see what I'm saying? I mean, if you're in a relationship, beyond 6 months, 8 months, okay, maybe, perhaps, I.O.P, okay, a little bit left, I.O.P left, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if you want to stretch it out to the first 24 months, okay, now 24 months and beyond shouldn't be no I.O.P. I'm just keeping it real with you. You see what I'm saying? You should have the same cloud of emotion. You should have such high expectancy and low and a plethora of disappointment. I felt that right there. You see what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to be on probation in the relationship or in your circle of influence. You see what I'm saying? Walking on eggshells. And I really, this is not a long show today. You know what I'm saying? I just probably should just end it right now because I don't even have a lot to say. But probably why I did it as a show is because, you get sick and tired of folks treating you in life like you just got on the job, is my point. You get tired of folks in life treating you like you just came on board, like you was just born yesterday, like you just started your career. And yes, we all need to make corrections. We need to make adjustments. We need to make, you know what I'm saying? We need to be flexible so that we can make course corrections. But I think that we now know what the hell we're doing. Pause and let you and I let myself meditate and mutter over that one right there. I think I know what I'm doing by now. And if I don't know what I'm doing, I know how to ask for help. I know how to research. I know how to allow myself to develop in something without letting everyone know that I am not as proficient in this particular area. You can tell people you're not proficient, but don't get too much information about the area of your deficiency, okay? DJ, you ready for me? Serious. The reason why I came up with this title for the show is because I want you to start letting people know that the IOP in your life is over. You know what you're doing. You got a handle on your purpose. You got a handle on your dream. You got some direction. You got your circle as small as tight, and you know it's right because it ain't got everybody and their mama flowing in and out of it. You're keeping the drama for your mama down on the down low, and you're keeping your problems minimized at best because you're seeing them as opportunities. And so, no, I am not up for an interview. This is not my first go around. This is not my first round around the block here. And no, this is not orientation because I have been trained. And no, I am not on probation because I have already established credibility and I have quite a bit of backup in my backup. Be right back. Check. This the coach, DCC baby in the house. How to know when your IOP in life is over. Yeah, baby. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's why I did it as a show, because folks need to recognize this ain't no interview. I ain't just got out of high school. This ain't graduating from I ain't graduated from no pre-K here. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, the reason why people act like that, the reason why people treat us like the IOP is in process is because that's the way we act. We act like we get ready to go for an interview. We're always in a cloud of emotion. You know what I'm saying? We're always in a cloud of emotion. You know what I'm saying? Always. You let people rattle you too easily. You see what I'm saying? If you was going for that interview for the first time, somebody said you got a piece of lint in your hair, you would break down right there and go to the bathroom, be all inspecting your hair. Where? You feel what I'm saying? If you were in an orientation and you don't understand something, and right before going to lunch, you raise your hand and what most people ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna ask no questions because I don't want nobody to be mad at me in orientation. No, baby, IOP is over. I'm gonna ask some questions. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. Yeah, my IOP is not over. You see what I'm saying? My IOP is over. Decide which one it is. Is it over or is it not over? If it's over, then tell yourself my IOP is over. If it's not over, cool then. You fresh, you new. You the newest kid on the block. Expect some attacks. Expect to be, played around, played games with and all that. But when you've been around the block a couple of times, look, you need to let your friends and family know, look, the IOP has been over. It's over, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to sit here and take this. I don't have to listen to these words insinuating. You see what I'm saying? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't be open for criticism. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is, you got to decide. I can't decide for you. Is your IOP in play or is it over? Are you steadily in a cloud of emotion? And I'm talking from experience here. I'm not, okay? As an entrepreneur, is your IOP over? Do you know what you're doing? Yes, I know what I'm doing. When I sent out a 9-page, 12-page contract for a show to be on my station, I know what I'm doing. And as they say biblically, Paul said, if there's anything that I need to correct along the path, he, meaning God, will show me. But meanwhile, I'm going to act like I know. It's nothing wrong with acting like you know. And there's nothing wrong with not telling people too much information once your IOP is over. See, when your IOP is in play, or when your IOP is over, but psychologically you still within the framework and the cloud work of the IOP, then you start dispelling all your information to all kinds of people that are not within the circle of credibility. I need some help right there. Not in the circle of authenticity. I felt something push me right there. And so you're acting like your IOP is in play, but then you get mad when folks come and step to you as if it's in play, when in fact it's not in play. But because you keep having relapse, because I keep having relapse, clouds of emotions, because my thought patterns and my thought leadership and my personal meditative time is spent worrying about the future, things that will never perhaps come to pass, and then looking over my shoulder, worrying about something I did last in the past, that's got your ass. You see what I'm saying? How to know when your IOP in life is over. And let me tell you something else. A lot of the protocol, a lot of the religiosity keeps an IOP in play. A lot of religiosity keeps an IOP in play. You hang around some folks, you will never, ever rise to your potential. DJ, give me something else. I need something funky right now. You will never, ever rise to your potential hanging around some religious protocol folks, because religion, even in Christianity, is a coding that seems to desensitize us to know when the IOP in life is over. Are you desensitized? Do you realize that you are a grown woman, a grown man, a businessman, a businesswoman, not to be confused with some arrogant whatever, but I'm talking about folks out there really grinding and trying to be responsible here. And folks treating you any old kind of way, talking to you any old kind of way, slicksters coming trying to get over. That's because you're operating in a magnetic pulse of IOP season. You're sending out a signal that is not the actual signal, but you sending it out. Oh man, I need to do a whole series about magnetic pulses, man. DJ, change that, man. Change that. For real, seriously. I need to do a whole series about magnetic pulses. What are you sending out? That's the question. What are you sending out magnetically? Because I'm going to tell you something. If you act like a baby, you're going to meet people who are going to disrespect the maturity that you have earned. Because when it's convenient for you, when it's convenient for your manipulated, dominating personality, you switch back to IOP diversions to get what you want, to get by, to cheat life, to cheat in life. And then when you forget to close the door on your IOP ways, here comes somebody else treating you like crap because you keep slipping in and out. You're walking in a dual life. 1 minute you're grown, in charge, and large, but the next minute you new on the job. Which is to take a break. Be right back. Yeah, no, you're not a fool. Like that one, DJ. You own it now. You see, that's where we get caught in the thicket right there, playing games. Instead of playing the game of life, we playing games. And I always remember when I tell you, if you play games, you're going to get played. But if you play the game of life, all you got to do is know the rules and play it well. It's just that simple. But if you're playing games, you're going in and out based on convenience, based on your manipulating, dominating ways. Then all of a sudden, you forgot to close the door on that I.O.P. life that you dipped back into. And then turns around and somebody else stepped into a door that was already open and started treating you like you felt like you shouldn't be treated, but you left the door open because you dipped in there when nobody else was looking to get the things you wanted, to get the way that you wanted, to slip in to please yourself. I need some help right there. And you know, the old proverb stands true even to today, that those who love pleasure will be brought to poverty. It still stands true today. Those who love pleasure will be brought to poverty. In other words, if pleasure is your dominating goal, you'll never amount to much. Pleasure cannot be the centralized goal. In fact, those who endure more pain are more likely to have more gain. Because in this life, we realize that the seed must go beneath the ground, beneath the environment of impressibility, if I could just throw that word in there. I don't know if that's a word. You know what I'm saying? Your life's got to go beneath the surface, where no one can give you any accolades, affirmation, and credibility, any of those things. And your life must die. And then it must be now nourished with the invisible plausibilities of divine power, if you will. When that seed goes down into the dirt, and if you're a scientist or something like that, you understand exactly what I'm trying to say, you know, or if you're a biologist, you know, when that seed goes in the ground, it feels dark. Those people that can understand how dark feels, they can get up. When that seed goes in the ground, it is alone. Really, it's not alone. It's alone among what seems to be life, but there's life below the surface. The seed doesn't know that yet. So finally, the power, I call the rain the divine power for the seed now. For the seed. Y'all don't start sending me a bunch of bad emails talking about he called God the rain. No, for the seed, rain is God. Divine. Moisture peels back the first layer of the scale of the seed, the protectorate of the seed. And it allows the moisture now begins to bring together the heat and the cold and the moisture, the air. I'm not a scientist and I'm not a biologist. So you guys that are scientists and biologists, you know what I'm talking about. The H2O along with all of the other elements in the scientific table. They come together respectively and do their thing in potential. And then all of a sudden, at the right time, when their I.O.P. is over, they sprout forth. And that's what I'm talking about. And they sprout forth without revealing their buds or their fruit at first. First, they sprout forth once again in the protectorate of a plant. In the form of leaves. Leaves for shading, leaves for covering, leaves for falsifying where rodents or insects that are a threat would go first. You see, if your I.O.P. is over, then you can't double dip. If your I.O.P. is over of your past life, you can't sip. If your I.O.P. is over, don't dip, because they will trip, catch the door open, and start treating you like you're just the new kid on the block, taking advantage of you, talking to you in a derogatory or any kind of way, not working within your framework. Is your I.O.P. over or not? You decide. Make up your mind, because it's time for you to be treated like you have seniority. I need some help right there. It's time for you to be treated like you've been here now. You know what you're doing. It's time for you to be called upon for real, not for reasons of gossip and slander. That's sometimes why people are only getting called upon, because they know how to cuss somebody out real good, and they know how to slander somebody so good that it make the other people feel so good, and they know how to put everybody in their place. If you being called upon for that, then, so be it. Do your thing. But that's not a good reason to be called upon. You want to be called upon because of your credibility, because of your authenticity. You want to be called upon to save a life. And we don't send apprentices out into the ocean to save lives. They sit on the beach and watch. And those that are walking in their IOPs right now, they're not in the deep waters right now. And that's okay. And there's some things that come with not being in the deep waters. You can't pretend to be in the deep waters on the beach. Take a small break. Be right back. If you look back over your life and how many times you've had to explain yourself, that's an indication right there. Your IOP in life is not over. Somehow or another, you're caught in the thick and the cloud of emotional storms. The forecast, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good when you have to keep explaining to people who never understand. It doesn't look good when you have to keep taking other people by the hand who need you for this, that, and the other, and you can never get to the potential of your purpose because you're always, quote unquote, helping somebody else. Decide. Just decide. I made my decision. Somebody had given me a compliment one time. They said, in the compliment, they said it like this. They said, "I've seen your rise." I like that right there. I've seen your rise over a period of time. I've watched you rise. That's when you know, baby, that your IOP is over. It's time now to become seasonal. Seasoned, I should say. Seasoned. Seniority now comes into play. Not necessarily to fight with somebody about some position or anything, but seniority comes into play because now your wisdoms begin to be called upon in life. Mr. Coach, just trying to get you to the finish line, man. Talking about the IOP in your life. Is it truly over? Take a small break. Come back and wrap things up. Yeah, it's time for me to get out of here, man. Follow us if you can on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Are you following us on Twitter? Is this a game to you? This is my life here. This is our life here in the studio. Look us up. We don't bite. Follow us on Blog Talk Radio if you're listening. This is not a game. This is only the game of life. And the rules say, put in if you want to get out what you expect. How you want it to feel for you, put it in for others. That's right. Don't forget www.415-96radio.com. This is the Coach.